Jason again with another video for EEM 171 codes and installation. And in this video I'm going to show you the wiring for one of the projects. It's not going to do every single one of the projects, but just kind of step you through the process of what to do here. Okay, so I've already got my panel wired up. Okay, so if you want to see how to do that again, go back to the other video to see how the panel's wired up, and then I'm going to run that to do the two receptacles. Okay, so to start with, what I want to do is actually, with the two receptacles, is pull that project out. So from the carts here, you just pull out which project you need. Okay, and then again, the thumb screws are in this box over here. Okay, so you just pull those out and mount those up onto the wall here. Okay, so I'm going to first of all pull out the two receptacles. Okay, so that I can start wiring. So I'm going to do that first. Okay. So now I have my two boxes empty. So I'm ready to start wiring those up. Okay, so I'm going to take my wire from my panel and install that into my first box. Okay, so what you want to do here is, with your wire, it's easier to strip the wire first before you put it into the box. So you need about 6 inches inside the box. An easy way to do that is take your thumb and your pinky and measure the wire like that, and that's where you will strip the wire. Okay. I run that, pull off the paper, and run that up through the Romex connector into the box. Okay, so now I need to cut another piece of wire to run from one box to the other. Use my side cutter over here to cut the wire off the spool. And again, use my rule with my hand to strip the insulation. From that side, I'm going to do the same with this side. Okay. Run this one up here. Other one up here into the second box for the second receptacle. So for this project, you only need 14-2 wire. So that's all I'm using, 2 pieces of 14-2. Okay. So now I want to tighten up those connectors. Again, have the Romex even with the box. Tighten those up. Again, you want them snug but not over tight. You don't want to cut into the wire. And the same over here. Need a flathead for that one. Okay. So now we have our wires roughed in. Okay. So this would normally be the first stage of any wiring process. If you were doing this in the house, you would run your wires first to all your boxes. Then you'd come back later after the walls are finished to put in your devices. Okay. So what I'll do here is I'll straighten these up, make them look as neat as possible. Just kind of make those look neat best you can. Okay. So now we'll look at it actually installing the devices. Get this position where I want it. Okay. I'll start with the first receptacle. So I'm going to need my wire strippers, my screwdriver, and also my side cutters. Okay. So what I want to start with first is the ground wires. Take care of them first. Okay. So take all these other wires, kind of move them out of the way. Okay. So those two have to connect to the ground screw, okay, here. So I have to get both of these grounds to that screw, okay. So you've heard me talk about on some of the other videos about twisting the grounds together and attaching it to the screw. Okay, now I want to actually show you what it is I was talking about there. Okay, so with these, I want to take and twist them together. Okay, but before I do that, because this is a metal box, I want to also ground the box. Okay, so for some reason something connects to the box, the hot wire maybe, or it gets cut into here. Okay, you want this to be protected also. So any metal boxes, metal conduit needs to be protected, needs to be grounded. Okay, so my first step is actually going to be to take one of my screws here, loosen that up. Okay, actually take this wire and kind of wrap it around, and needle nose pliers helps for this part. Just gonna tighten that up. Okay. And then tighten my screw back down. So now my box will be grounded. Okay. So just so you can see that a little bit better. Okay. So now I have my box grounded. Alright, so now I can do the step to attach it to my receptacle. Alright, so I take the two ground wires and I'm going to twist them together. Okay, like so. Then take my side cutters, okay, and to make a good connection, I'm going to twist these even further. So I've got a good solid ground connection. So now my ground from my panel coming in will protect this receptacle, and it's also attached to the second ground wire to protect my second receptacle. So you remember from before we talked about that only one wire can go to one screw on the device. So we looked at some examples where we had to do a pigtail. Okay, here with the ground, it's a non-current carrying conductor. So we can simply attach this wire directly to the device without having to pigtail. So to do that, I'm just going to cut one of these wires off. So I'll take the short one and I'll cut that off. So now I can take this wire here and I'm going to trim it down just a little bit. And now I can make my hook. And attach that to my receptacle. Remember, I always want to go clockwise with the screw. Okay. So now I have that grounded, and it'll also be going to my second box. Okay, so with the metal boxes you do two steps here. First grounding the box itself, then twisting the wires together to ground the receptacle. If you're doing this in a house, residential, typically you'll be using plastic boxes, so you don't have to ground those plastic boxes because they do not carry current. So you can just simply twist the wires and attach it to the receptacle. Okay? So I wanted to clarify that. So when you see the other videos where I talk about twisting the grounds, this is what you're doing. Okay? So now I just simply connect my hot and neutral wires. And not that this is required, but this is something I do just for consistency reasons. I like to keep things organized. Okay, I like to have my power coming in on the top, my power going out to the next receptacle on the bottom. Okay, not that it matters, it doesn't. Okay, as long as you get the two neutral wires on the neutral side of the receptacle and the hot wires on the hot side, as long as you've got that, it'll work. But I like to keep it organized. So these two are my power going out, and these two are my power coming in. Okay, so just going to kind of separate those. Okay, and back it up where you can see a little bit better. Okay, so this is my power coming in, my power going out. So since I've already got it on the neutral side, I'm going to go ahead and start with that. So this is my power coming in, so I'm going to put it on this top screw. So make my hook. Okay. Go ahead and make my hook for my other neutral wire. Take my screwdriver. Remember, always go clockwise. Your hook. Okay. And that takes care of your neutral side. Okay.